Another miniatures war game that is no longer available, but people still play them in their collection from time to time, along with some good memories. Well, it's time I do a review on this long overdue game. This is Battlefield Evolution Ultra Modern Tabletop Combat by Mongoose Publishing. This is a first part of a two-parter review. So roll that intro, please. Greetings, this is DeLeon Francis 60 here, and I'm here to do another miniatures review. This time I'll be doing Battlefield Evolution Ultra Modern Tabletop Combat. This game was developed by Mongoose Publishing, but they're no longer around. They don't make miniatures. This miniature game is no longer available, and as you can see, I'm reviewing the book in here and with the miniatures. This is gonna be a two-part review, and for this book as well, the Battlefield Evolution Modern Combat. I'll review this in another date for another part of the video. So, but right now we're gonna concentrate in with this. This is what I'm gonna talk about. This game came out like around the early 2000s. I remember just walking to a hobby store, like a local gaming center that I normally go to back then. I still do, and at that time I wasn't not into miniature war games. I just went there for curiosity. So what's going on? I didn't know about Warhammer 40K or even this before even I played Axis and Allies miniatures. But I did came across this when I was like, what is this? And I was like, and I saw this stuff. It's like military stuff, and I didn't heed no mind because my interest back then was other stuff. Like I was more concentrated on my Xbox at the time and PS2 games and school and all that stuff and job, other important stuff. But over the years, when I got introduced to wargaming, this was ringing in my mind. It's like, hey, modern combat, and I remember this game. And fortunately, this is no longer being made. This company, like I said, went out of business. They did make the Starship Troopers that I reviewed like over a year ago. So that's another game that I reviewed from them. And this one is more focused into the military aspect of the game. It's like modern combat. There is a World War II version of this, but that's a different story. There's so many World War II games out there that I decided this was a perfect time for moving into the modern and just see it. This come with pre-painted. It's already assembled. That was the beauty of it. It kind of reminds me back then with the Axis and Allies miniatures. It's already pre-painted with cards and even have a little rule pamphlet for you to play. So gather up a friend and build up a force, and all you gotta do have this book. Unfortunately, they were planning to expand more of this by adding like helicopters and more anti-aircraft vehicles. Basically, the focus in the story of this game is like it's Somerset in the middle, like in a 2020s of an alternate timeline, and it's like we have like a new power alliance is formed. Like there's the United States, there's the European Federation, and the Middle Eastern Alliance, and China. I did play a battle report of this like over a year ago, using 28 millimeter miniatures, and I used the Battlefield's evolution system, and that worked perfectly. I used that the other book that I'm gonna review on the next on the next review, and this is what I'm gonna talk about. It, from what I can tell, um, it was it didn't it went well. It has people still buying this stuff. I can see still going to eBay. When I go to eBay all the time and try to search engine these things, I can only find a British Challenger and a PLA tank. It's kind of hard to find. It's very rare. I recently found this command vehicle for the PLA. I haven't had a chance to open them, and I have this already. The MEE, Middle Eastern Alliance anti-tank, anti-air vehicle. And let's go see what's in the book. And here's the book where we'll open it up. And this is very old, and it tells everything from the rules and how to army build, the usual stuff that you would read in a miniatures war game. And here are some of the units that is from the MME, like technicals. Yeah, they come in a set of 3s, so that's actually at a good money for your buck back then. And here's how the facing and how how the rules will work. And this is what the catalog what they have in here. That's U.S. Marine Force Recon, PLA Infantry Squad, and MME Technicals. And the battlefield you make, you can play around it. Look at that. I'm gonna skip some of this, but as you can see, it tells you everything from game turns and all that shit. How to run. I'm sorry, but this book is very old. Whoever's a previous owner probably didn't take care of it. That's why I am kind of watching out for it, because I don't want to get rogue. See that? I can't even control where it's going. Yeah, it's one of those annoying parts. It tells everything in here, like the shooting and all that stuff. And here are the added stuff back then. Like they were gonna add a Super Cobra and helicopters and anti-air vehicles for the PLA and other factions like the Middle Eastern Alliance. They were gonna add like tanks for them because they didn't have any tanks. They were planned to be released, but they went out of business and that got canceled. And over here it tells you the factions, who they are and how they formed up, like the European Federation, United States. It's the United States has in this book is only represented by the U.S. Marine Corps, but the Army and the Air Force and the other branches are still mentioned there. So this is just an early part of the book. The other book covers that force organization stuff. Here you have like the Middle Eastern Alliance and all that stuff and how they were all formed. You got factions and you got the PLA. Yeah, that PLA, and these are the 4 factions right early from the game. So you got technicals and how the battlefield maps, like how you would set up your conditions, like scenarios. Yeah, I'm gonna skip through this because this book is fighting me while I'm doing the camera. After years of working this running video in this miniature videos, I still haven't invested on a proper camera control. Over here, this is the most interesting part. It tells you like a little the global lines or times. I don't know what they're trying to sell in here. It tells you about the full story, like the Kazakhstan and how the ME forces sided, how they got assembled. This is like a short story. You can see like who are some of the major players in here. I'm kind of really fascinated how they wrote this stuff. This is like one of those alternate timelines, and the equipments. They even mentions like several several the warrior systems. They We know that from our current timeline that that was kind of that was canceled due to the programming. They got rid of that program, the budget for that one. So, and you can see how the European Federation Task Force was dispatched to this land. The Chinese also did the same thing, and the MME, the Middle Eastern Alliance, reacting to it, because the Middle Eastern Alliance are a very interesting faction in this game. They they benefit from both Soviet equipment and Western equipment, and war on American soil. And here is the evolution. They were trying to work for Starship Troopers. I don't know if it was the same book game that I made, but it might be a separate one. But there is a book out there that I'm currently hunting, and it's maybe still the same. It's probably based on the Paul Hyben movie, and I think that's it for this book. Yeah, you can tell this book is really old and all that stuff. From what you get from the box, you will get this also included. This is basically how the game will tells you the movements and all that stuff. A mini quick start rules, and that's easily printable, and you just read it up. It's included in every box when you brand new box when it came out. And here are the card sets they come in. Like I said, the card set is pretty useful to have around. You don't need multiple copies of these things, because you can probably invent ways to track your units. And this over here, this vehicle was actually that's supposed to be replacing the Humvee. It tells you the backgrounds and all that stuff. The Shadow was a hybrid transport capable of mounting many weapon systems, but in reality, this was proven to be false. They kind of just it was removed from. It didn't pass the military requirements, but I was kind of glad. It's kind of glad they added this here. And you got the U.S. Marines Force Recon Team. That's what I have, but I do have other units in here. British Army section. This is the only cards I have in here, except for those guys. They have cards in there, so I haven't had a chance to open them. And as for the miniatures, for the minis, the scale wise, they are 1/25 scale. They're not 1/28 or 1/72, but here's the thing: you can actually field those scales. If you don't have this, if you have the book like the Modern Combat that I will review, I will explain more. You can actually field 28mm, because we played this game before in 28mm in the past, and it works perfectly just fine. So there are right now, since these are 1/64 scale, if you get them close to a 1/72 scale, it won't be a problem. You won't notice it. And this is on 25mm scale. So any enterprising these days, now we have 3D printers. I actually, a few days ago, I experimented on it. I bought like a STL file with a soldier and just scaled it up with a same scale, and it was actually close to it, a 25mm. And I said, wow, I can make other factions with this game. That's where this other book comes in here. You have a lot of options in this thing. So you got a lot of options for this thing. So if you don't have this book, and if you want it, you can get them. It's still available on eBay or Amazon. It's cheap. So if you want to play this game, you probably just need a D6 dice and I believe a D10, and you're set. You're pretty much set. You can create your own factions. Hopefully unfortunately, since this is over, the company is no longer available. It's considered a it's not it's considered a dead game, but it's still being played by people. There's like a if we go to Facebook group or like a modern combat, it's um group, they still mention this, and they still have fond memories, and we still talk about it. So it's actually pretty well with 28 millimeter stuff like Empress miniatures. They can pretty fit perfectly. So if you're interested in modern combat and you want a easy skirmish games, get the game. If you can't find this one, that's okay. You got 3D printed stuff. They pretty like they're you can actually work that in there. So you're pretty much set. So I think I will end this review from now on for today. And for my next review, I will mention more about how you can put for 3D printed stuff, and I'll talk about this book, and I'll mention about how you can 3D print the stuff, a little tutorial and my collection. So this is just a prologue, part one of a two-part review. This is DeLeon Francis 60 here, signing off.